Good morning, welcome back out to Patman Garage. So we finally got the fence project finished up out there. We got the stain all done, everything's looking sharp. We're ready to kick the blackwood back out of the garage. So we'll move the blackwood back in front of Fiddy and we'll get started on diagnosis of the fuel tank situation with Fiddy. We will find out if we're looking at a wiring issue or another pump issue. But yeah, we'll dive into that here in just a minute once we get the blackwood out of the way. Fiddy's fuel tank is actually already out of the truck. So I did that last weekend. So we will work on actually diagnosing it next. And yeah, we'll get the cover put on it, and we'll get to take a look at Fiddy here. All right, so we're gonna take a look at diagnosing the fuel system. I did originally do some resistance checks, and nothing really jumped out at me. Not like a major short to ground or something. Then I pulled apart the harness, and I have a, where did it go? Single strand on the right here. There's a single, there you go. Finally got it in focus. There's a single power wire sticking up right there. Poking through the insulation. It didn't look like it was touching the ground side, and I didn't see any holes on the ground side, but we'll make sure we get that extra wrapped up whenever we get this thing back together. And as a friendly reminder, this is a 2015 or 20 Gen 2 F-150 top hat from the fuel system that was cut down, and then I used the leaders coming off of the factory. This would all be inside the tank on the 2015, and then I created a jumper harness to go to my tank, my pump, and then use my factory wiring going down into the tank. So this allows me to have a longer leader plus a conversion connector to be able to plug in the donor harnesses into my fuel tank. So there's a possibility where this wire connects to the pump is coming apart or doing something goofy there, because I believe I have one more splice inside the tank. I also, when I dropped the tank out of the truck, I saw there's quite a bit of a kink to the fuel line itself. I'm not sure when that happened or what caused that, but that definitely could cause a restriction, and could be overworking the pump if it's having to try to overcome the restriction of the line. So probably going to end up rebuilding this line, which is fine, not a big deal. Just kind of wanted to point that out as well. Actually, I think this is just where my clip was. There's a little bit of a indentation there, but I think that's where the frame rail clip sits. But anyways, we're going to apply power and ground directly to the pump, see if we can get any action to happen, and see if we can put gas back in our bucket. And yeah, we'll get going on that. All right, so I started with partially filling up the bucket. I put maybe a gallon in it, and I was like, well, I probably should go ahead and put this into like an actual gas safe container. So I dug out the 5-gallon gas can, and then I started filling up that, and I got about another gallon pumped or so, and then the pump quit on me. So definitely have something going on with that pump itself, or we have an open circuit on that wiring. Either way, we're going to try to get as much fuel out as we can, because the tank was basically completely full. So I'm going to do my best to try to continue working on getting fuel out of this thing, and we'll see if we can get to a position where we can actually take this top hat out. All right, so here's the game plan. I'm using my emergency get home fuel wiring and my jump box, and I'm just powering up the fuel pump directly. And yeah, I've got, like I said, about we can see the line. See the line in it there. It's about a little over a gallon or so pumped into it, and it has stopped on me several times now. So I'm gonna just keep letting it do its thing and see if I can get some more out of it, because the way this tank's designed, there's really not a great way to actually get the hat out if we have fuel like all the way up to the top. So we will work on trying to get as much out as we can before we give up and just try to take the top hat off and see what's going on inside. All right, so check this out. So I went ahead and got the pump out of the top of the tank. Does involve disconnecting the float arm for the sending unit, so we'll have to make sure we get that put back on. I believe that I got a good back probe on my wiring. I can obviously double check that, but as it stands right now, I have no power. Obviously it's not connected, but when it is connected, I still don't have power at the pump itself. When I was playing with it earlier, I was wiggling the harness in this area and it was kind of coming and going. So I'm thinking we've got some sort of intermittent open circuit along this wiring somehow, somewhere. So we'll do a little bit more digging. I will probably disconnect my back probe and just go straight to this connector and just verify for sure 100% that I don't have power there, and front probe it, that type of thing, and then we'll figure out where our wiring problem actually lies, but it looks like it's in the top hat somewhere. All right, so I don't exactly have an explanation yet of what's going on with this thing, but when I'm manipulating the black wire here, it definitely, my voltage is jumping all over the place. So I do still have the jump box connected. Now disregard the fact that it shows negative, that doesn't really matter. But let me try to get the camera set up where I can show you my voltage jumping around here. So currently wiggling the black wire a little bit here. See, I'm randomly dropping to 10 volts, 11 volts. It's crazy. We've got constant voltage applied to it and we're dropping down to 10 volts. We're losing 3 volts across this wire somewhere. It definitely looks like it's internal to the wiring. So the other thing that was really strange too is with this weather pack connector, when I pulled this connector off, it was full of fuel. So it was a little strange seeing that too. It's the connector that goes to the pump itself, but not sure why that happened, but it is what it is. Yeah, we're gonna see if we can get this thing more robust, because obviously we got an issue here. Well, that might be a problem. So I was so focused on the black wire, I decided to go ahead and cut into it, figure out what's going on with it. Didn't really see any issue with the soldering. Obviously there's some kind of tarnish and a little bit of corrosion, I guess maybe you could call it that, in the wiring itself. But I still had good connection there, and then I cut open the power side, or I'm sorry, the ground side, and the wire just fell apart, even though it was soldered. So I'm guessing there was some sort of long-term reaction with fuel, maybe even E85 fuel specifically, in regards to the corrosion, or in regards to solder. So I've never had issues, but honestly, this is, I think, the first time I've ever soldered in for something submerged in fuel. So we'll do a little bit more research, figure out what the best method for sealing this up and repairing this is going to be, and I will be back with you guys shortly. So I do not claim to be an expert, and honestly, part of what I enjoy about this is finding the failures, whether that be my failure, part failure, or whatnot. But this is definitely on me. Like I said, we'll do some more research and figure out what the best course of action here is, and figure out if we need to order a different wiring kit for this thing, or if there's a better sealant to put on it or whatnot. But we'll figure this out together, and like I said, I'll be back with you here shortly, hopefully. So here's what I found in my toolbox after doing a little bit of research, is doing some weather tight heat shrinking seals. So these are both for 14, 16 gauges. They are slightly different lengths and colors, I guess, but basically they have solder inside of it, and then there's like a glue or resin that melts and kind of seals up the end, so you can kind of see if my camera will focus. You can kind of see the glue kind of wicking out the ends there. So that should be a robust repair, and weather or fuel tight. We will do a little bit of testing before we put this thing all the way back together. I'll stick my pins back in here. We'll power the jump box back up, and then we'll kind of wiggle this just to make sure we have a good connection to it. And we may also do the same thing once we put the connector on the pump. We'll do some stress testing on this thing before we actually get the tank back into the truck. And while we're in here fixing stuff, I'm going to re-engineer my fuel sending unit a third time now. Hopefully I can better mimic the original design on the 2018 fuel hat. So flip the direction around, rebent my arm again. We need to do some test fitting to make sure this actually will sweep correctly in the tank without interfering with anything inside the tank. Also, before I actually resubmerge that, I'm going to go ahead and fix my fuel sending unit wiring, which has never had a problem with it, but I would have soldered it the same way that I did the control wires. So for fixing stuff, we might as well fix this too. All right, terrible quality video here with the light, but I ended up getting the entire 5-gallon container filled up with fuel, stress tested the pump, ran it full speed, filled up the pump, or filled up the container. So we should be good to go on that. I do still need to build a fuel line, so we will work on that on the next time whenever we come back out here. But I can probably use the what's left of my donor jumper harness fuel line that I built. I can probably find a section of that that'll work for us. So we'll revisit this here shortly. In your land, in my land, it'll be another day. I've had enough fun huffing fumes for the day.